Clare Daly.
Yeah, thanks, Ger. Well, I too had ring-fenced that part of your contribution, and I have to say it's an incredibly defeatist talk and will not be good news for the workers involved there. I think what this actually does is expose the problem of the over-reliance of the government's strategy on multinational corporations. The problem here is not the viability of the sector. The problem here is that these operations don't fit in with the parent company's plans. That's in essence what it is here. Pratt & Whitney are market leaders, they're Irish operation, and they have decided as part of the deal with Singapore Airlines to, if you like, cut off the Irish arm of the operation and allow some of that maintenance be developed over time in Singapore. What we're saying is that cannot be allowed to happen. This outfit has benefited enormously from its operation in Ireland and continues to do so, highly profitable, order books are full, and if they think they are divesting themselves of this outfit, what we're saying to you is that the state should step in and take it over as a going concern. But the parent company doesn't want that, not because the work isn't there, but because they would then be in competition with the parent company's outfit. Now, I think the other deputies are saying that this would be economic sabotage if these jobs were to be gone, and we want you to go in and bat with both companies to say they're viable jobs. You've got a lot out of Ireland. It's about time that you gave something back here and stood by the workforce, because it cannot be allowed to exit. And I wonder, could you deal with the issue of the pension in Lufthansa, because there are slight differences between the two companies, and actually workers in Lufthansa technically might be slightly more vulnerable than the others.
Thank you, Deputy Stagg.
Minister, the most positive part of your speech to us is actually missing out of the script. So maybe you'll arrange to have the full script circulated to us as soon as possible. I'm very disappointed at what you had to say to us, because there seemed to be an acceptance of a fait accompli without making any real effort to reverse the decisions the companies have made, or are threatening to make at least. It's sort of, you present it as a black and white, the deal is done, or the job is finished, and that there was no doubt about it. Well, if that is the case, and maybe that is the case, then the efforts to find alternatives, and you touched on that in the last part of your speech, which isn't circulated, then you need to expand on that, and all the agencies now need to be involved, and the Minister, as Jack Wall has said repeatedly, needs to be involved directly in that, in finding an alternative. We cannot afford to lose what is a very special skill base that we have in these two companies and in this particular industry.
Thank you, Deputy. Minister, to reply.
Just to say that, be sure all the deputies, Minister Bruton, there's no fait accompli at all in this. We're just stating the facts that was announced of last week, and the government is actively working with the IDA and the state agency to meeting the management. And it's important to understand that the decisions being taken by PWI and Lufthansa arise from international economic conditions. But there is a very thriving market in Ireland, and the government will be doing everything with the IDA, who do a very good job with Enterprise Ireland. At the total, Minister Bruton met he met one of the companies, and obviously I'm not sure whether he met the second company. I just can't confirm that, but I'm quite certain that IDA have met them, and be assured that there'll be no stone left unturned. And if the Minister Bruton will be back from India next week, and if you want to meet the deputies, to meet all the deputies concerned, I'm quite certain that can be arranged. I'll ask him to arrange next week to have a briefing in his office with all of the deputies here that have raised these issues, and to invite in the IDA into that meeting that will sit down clearly and see the potential. These are markets are driven by external markets, and that it's obviously we only can create the environment for jobs, and the government have done everything in its best efforts to make the economy more competitive. They're doing everything they can to encourage enterprise, create jobs, and it's a very disappointing announcement of the government to be making this. Be assured that we are not in any way fait accompli. Anything we can do to, an idea will be doing to encourage a rethink will certainly will be done. But equally, the manufacturing sector is a key sector for the Irish economy, and the Manufacturing Development Forum, established by Minister Bruton last year, has been involved in helping to activate the recommendations contained, and it's important we state this, in the 4FOSS manufacturing strategy. Through this initiative, the government has a target of creating an additional 20,000 jobs in manufacturing by 2016. That's the job of government. However, we need to be mindful of changes in the operational practice in many manufacturing areas, and the aerospace sector is no different. Both IDA and Enterprise Ireland are active with companies in the aerospace sector, and I can assure you that I know from personal experiences that they have a very dedicated team in there, and with a view to enhancing the potential good start-ups and the retention of overseas companies here. In general terms, it's also important to remember that Ireland continues to be competitive in attracting new investment. Over 1,000 multinational corporations have chosen Ireland as their strategic European base, and multinationals currently employ 146,000 people. And the positive impact of the government's policies on job creation are beginning to show. I think that's important that IDA got 12,722 jobs in IDA-supported companies. That shows how effective they have. Saw an increase of that number of jobs. And the immediate outlook for Ireland's foreign direct investment portfolio is positive, with a strong short-term pipeline in place. And IDA Ireland is confident of securing further investments, which will include a number of capital investments. But just to say in conclusion that what I'm saying, I'll speak to Minister Bruton when he comes back next week, and all the deputies that raised this issue here this evening, I'd ask them to meet to have a round-table discussions on this, to see clearly, and whatever engagement with management in both companies, to see exactly, and to invite IDA and to see exactly, to get so there'll be no ambiguity at all about it in any sense. So hopefully that will address the concerns and whatever the government can do, but we cannot change the multinational companies that they make a decision, but we'll do everything we can to make if that can be done. Every effort will be made to do that. Be assured, Minister Bruton will give it his 100% commitment, and likewise the Taoiseach and the government. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister.